Hello, really well beings. Dr. Bhatia here with a video all about our adolescence, and I'm hoping to share something that has really reframed something that I've sort of danced with and been perplexed by, and that is the transitions and changes that happen in the adolescence within ourselves and in our lives. It seems to be such a challenging time, and certainly in my work as a GP, a general presence, I've often seen the struggle that goes on and wondered what is actually happening in this time. I listened to a talk by a polymath called Dr. Dan Siegel, who not only has many ideas that are very resonant with myself in terms of awareness, or I call it presence, also in terms of his love of acronyms. And this is not my acronym, but his, so I think it's all right to put it here. And this one is Essence, is his way of actually reframing and falling in love with our adolescence, the people, the adolescents, and the essence of our adolescence within ourselves. And it's something that lingers. However, it's at its peak in the time where we are transitioning between dependency and adulthood. So that's the kind of the physiological driver that relates to our sort of primate and our primitive mammalian history, as well as in our current social context. Currently, you can kind of think of it as peaking between the period of 14 and 25. So between 1 and 14 is when we're sort of dependent and learning and just receiving information. But between 14 and 25 is when we're in a position of transition and rebalancing that information before we're ready to respond. So reawakening, receiving, rebalancing and responding as an adult. And it's the integration of body, emotions, social and spiritual selves and thoughts. So I think of it as our best. Sorry, one of my acronyms came in. That's our best. Body, emotions, social and spiritual, and thoughts. And he beautifully and elegantly describes them in terms of this quartet of things that are changing, and the shape of their bubble is changing really quickly. So through the physical changes in their body and their social position, firstly, there are things that make them emotionally more reactive, to do with parts of their brain called the limbic system, which are in the base of our brains, which make us emotionally very receptive. So when most of us would be going up and down like this, in adolescence, they have much more responsiveness. So their emotional waves are much more vigorous. And this is thought to be one of the things that challenges their inertia and means that in evolutionary terms, these adolescents are ready to leave the comfort of their home and their familiar and be ready to transition into a new identity, to leave home, to do new things. So the emotional spark is part of that momentum that's in there. The other thing is their social identity changes. So as they leave the home, their idea of their network changes from the sort of the immediate tribe within the household to the broader tribe. And as a result, it made sense when you left home to connect in with your other peers. And that's why their peer relationships and their social engagements are so powerful. And the other thing is they have a strong change in their brain chemistry to seek novelty through two factors. One is through dopamine requirement. They have a higher requirement of dopamine in their bodies to become more excited, or in their brains. So the normal run-of-the-mill stuff just doesn't excite them anymore. They need a challenge, something different. Again, that's the momentum to leave and do something different. The other thing is they then have hyper-rational thinking. Their body and mind, the way our kind of intuitive sense puts the brakes on, isn't there. They're much more ready to do something on the spur or whim of the moment. So that's why a lot of tattoos happen in their teens. It seems like a great idea at the time, though their body might say, I'm not so sure about this. And so their ability to kind of consider the broader context and the different scopes of time and the implications of things isn't so there. They're more into the immediate response, and novelty is really immediate. And the last part is creative exploration. And that is that they then are in a position to think creatively in new and dynamic ways. And that's one of their greatest gifts for us in society. And if we still have our adolescence in us, we come up with creative ideas too. So they challenge us like the punk age. What they do is they receive the information and their brain is rewiring really quickly. So it's myelinating, making these fast connections, and also pruning, chopping away bits and pieces very rapidly. So their ideas and their ways of seeing things change. And that way they can see the world in ways that we wouldn't see. So Galileo or other people seeing that the world was different. You know, it's not actually flat, it's round. Those things like that. And they present things. So currently the adolescents are telling us we are not looking after this planet well enough, and they're showing it in our face when we're so used to doing the status quo. So thank you, adolescents, for reminding us to think again and ask ourselves, could we be wrong? And that is the creative exploration. And that's why if you add up ESSENCE, you get the essence that's inherent in all of us. So long live our adolescence, and may we celebrate our adolescents, the TS, those who are in our lives, for their beauty and their challenges. Because when you have such a big emotional spark, there are lots of roller coasters and ups and downs. When there are lots of social engagements, sometimes we can be guided by the company we can keep and impact on our judgments in ways that we might regret. And it's hard when those relationships aren't going well. The novelty, the desire for something new, it's don't take it personal. They don't want your company. It's just they need something new. And the creative exploration, it's there to challenge us, which has a beautiful place, but it also means they'll challenge anything. So that is the beauty of our adolescence. Thank you very much for being there, adolescents, and that in me. Hope you enjoy yours. Bye for now.